And Sean Goodale being caught by Ben Tuck. It's the 95 United Autosports McLaren, the 77 sole surviving Proton competition Mustang. These are battles worth watching as we get deeper and deeper into this race.
Has the Mustang not just gone by? Was that not just him on his own in the back of the shot? Possibly not. I might have just missed the McLaren, but Danny Juncadella all over the back of Ricky Perra. So the winners in Qatar after a remarkably resilient final stint defence by Danny Juncadella in the 33 Corvette. It was edge of the seat stuff. It looked like he was going to be passed on almost every lap, but now he's up behind Ricardo Perra, our Le Mans winners, our winners in Imola as well. That's why they're the championship points leaders.
Goes to the outside, Darren.
Yeah, making him go around the long side, but now switch back underneath. This should be his corner now. But this is the bit where you can always try and fight back at this moment. If you can just get the run, like he has on the way through turn 2, but he's got to go the long way round through 3, and then obviously the Corvette's got the inside line down into turn 4. But sometimes the inside line isn't always the advantage. If you can stay on the racing line, use the grip that's there and available on the racing line. But I think actually on this occasion, the job is done.
Yeah, it wasn't easy giveaway, was it? Ricardo Perra fought that every inch of the way. So hard-earned position for Danny Juncadella. Past him has gone one of the two Astons, it's 009.
We can see how hard these guys are all pushing, and you can see how involved they are in their own battle. But meantime, hypercars buzzing around them all the while. How big a challenge, Darren Turner, when you're there and as deeply embedded into a battle like this as these guys clearly are, interrupted by a faster car coming through? What does that do to your focus, to your mindset?
Another move,
Ricardo Perra
big lunge into turn 12, but overshot a little bit. So now the Corvette's got the inside line again. This is a whole lap of one overtake, isn't it? It's fantastic. I love it when it's like this. You know, not giving up. It can be quite easy. You've been overtaken, they've caught up with you, that you've been overtaken, you're like, okay, that car's got the pace, I need to just focus on my lap time and my stint performance. But then to fight back is, yeah, that's fair play, really good to watch.
And Ricky Perra, suddenly the door opened, he had a great lunge down the inside, he wasn't expecting it to come, and it's, oh, big handful. Fantastic.
Ricky's been in fine form this season aboard that car. He's clearly comfortable aboard the 911 GT3R.
It's still not over, isn't it?
Well, Juncadella's trying to clear the muck off his tyres, isn't it? Every time they go offline, they're picking up pounds of used rubber. You can see a great big lump there flying off the car in front.
The difference with a sports car race over, say, a single-seater race is the racing line becomes quite narrow because everyone's pretty much on the same thing. But because there's so much overtaking going on in this race, you know, the whole racing line is double width, basically. And then you've got the marbles on the outside of that. It's when you get pushed out there, there's a lot, and it can take a couple of laps to get that all cleaned off the tyres and going again. And especially for the sort of the bronze drivers in the GT category, if they get pushed wide, which inevitably happens more often, and they get onto the marbles, it takes them even longer to get that cleaned off and being able to get the confidence back in the car.
And that's assuming you don't get a lump stuck in the rim, and then you'd have this unbalanced wheel vibration all the way through your double stints. The battle for second is well alight now. Yuichi Nakayama just about holding station ahead of Rahel Frey. But again, so much of these gaps, so often these gaps are affected by quicker cars coming through and holding one car up or the other, either increasing the gap or closing it down.
Absolutely. So Rahel, this phase of the race, holding station more or less, able to close the odd gap, but Nakayama then able to edge away.
She's gobbling him up. Don't forget, she was the length of a straight behind when we had that message saying you've got an advantage. She's now barely the length of a car behind.
Well, we heard, didn't we, a little earlier from the team about their concerns about the long-run grip levels they've got with the tyre.
Look at Juncadella, having just disposed of the Porsche 2 laps ago. He's now all over the back of the McLaren of Sebastian Boe. So Danny Juncadella having a really good run at the moment.
Well, remember, again, platinum factory driver versus the silver driver Sebastian Boe here. you know, but these are young, hungry pro drivers involved here, looking to take scalps like Danny Juncadella. So it's not going to be easy for the Spaniard to get by in the Corvette.
And Ricky Perra closing in behind in the Porsche as well.
So he's going for the outside line, and now he's got the inside.
Watch
down
Perra.
the hill for 11.
Perra's coming through as well, because they basically, Darren, they were stationary there.
Yeah, that's probably an annoying couple of corners there for the McLaren, dropping 2 places. But yeah, he sort of made himself hang tight on the right and the Corvette on the outside through turn 10.
Going back at the Porsche. Great overhead shot here.
It's a long way round uphill on the outside, isn't it? And here comes the Peugeot to make life even more tricky.
Meanwhile, in the background, we can also see it is going to be Ricky Perra that maintains that position. Also see that Sean Gillel has been caught by Ben Tuck in that battle for what is now 9th place. That's because Wallabo Kello, I think, has finished his stint. He's on pit lane in number 10, Aston Martin.
Yeah, they're not too far behind this battle either. You can almost see them in the same shot. So they're a couple of seconds further back, 2.5 seconds back, Sean Gillel, from his fellow McLaren driver. Again, another hypercar coming in behind. It's the number 5. Squeezes his way through, number 6.
That's like the wall of death, isn't it? Around turn 6, where all the marbles are, and you're having to sort of go around one of the GT cars.
Battling on between the 2nd place Lexus and the 3rd place on Dames Porsche. Rahel Fry not giving this one up.
And this is the bit, you're in car, and you can see the other car making mistakes, just missing the apex by half a metre here or a metre there, and it just gives you more and more confidence that you've got half a chance of being able to attack.
Whistles by the number 10 Aston that's just come out of the pit lane, and that's Valentin Asiclo on board, having taken over from Dudu Barrichello.
Yeah, good run from Eduardo Barrichello in front of his home crowd.
He'll be back in again before the end of the race for at least one more stint.
Getting into the phase of this stint where Rahel Fry is going to, I think, want to try to force the point here closer than she's been for a little wee while.
The good news for her is that we've had some of the lead hypercars coming through, and if you know who the leader is, oh, she gets a good run on the inside, Darren.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, unfortunately, it's on the outside for the next corner, but it's the same thing. Seeing the car ahead, making a mistake, missing the apex, and you know the opportunity is going to be coming pretty soon.
She's got it. She's
just
got
like
it.
that.
Yep.
Absolutely perfect.
So Yuichi Nakayama gave her a little shoulder charge to sort of ease her out of the way and hold on to the position, but it didn't deter her. The Swiss driver moves up into 2nd place for the Iron Dames.
Lexus is quick on this straight there. I'm not sure he's got enough, but it's because the Lexus is going to pit lane.
In lap for Yuichi Nakayama. So he comes in from what was 3rd place. This is great on-board viewing, Darren.
Yeah, see the little twitch? As he turned in, rear axle went, moved wide, and it just gave an opening that was, okay, it's the long way round, but it certainly helped because it just gave you the momentum on the approach to turn 12, because that Lexus just went a bit wide onto that curb going through turn 11.
Been a cracking run for the Dames so far.
Behind with the 51 Ferrari. Where's the gap going to open up? He managed to squeeze through. Now here's Ben Tuck in the Mustang, closing in on the McLaren in front. Darren towing right up behind the McLaren. Looks like he's got speed in a straight line.
Yeah, the McLaren kept it quite clean there, opened the door. You're looking for a counter-attack at this point. Mustang getting a bit loose on the exit of turn 2 there, but I think now it's got the drive on its way down to turn 4.
Looking more and more sorted, this Mustang. It's deeper into its career. It's the newest of the full new GT3 cars rather than Evos. Under investigation, meanwhile, car 60, track limits 5th offence. Andrew Gilbert, that's the AMG, the yellow car. That car some way down the order in 16th place in LMGT3. We are keeping an eye, by the way, on the gaps in hypercar. No change in position. It is still Cadillac Hertz Team Joe to Alex Lynn, Jenson Button 1-2, Michael Christensen, Kevin Estre, Porsche Penske Motorsport 3-4, with Estre under investigation for some kind of pit stop procedure. We'll see again this neat and tidy overtake from Ben Tuck in the 77 Mustang on Sean Gallale's McLaren.
That's a move Valentino Rossi would have been proud of in his two-wheel career. That's a block pass. You get in front and you can't carry the speed. You just stop on the apex. Excellent. Well, there's your race leader, Alex Lynn. 17 seconds it was, now 18.1 ahead of Jenson Button. Jenson 17.1 ahead of Michael Christensen in third. Christensen 35 seconds ahead of Kevin Estre in fourth. And Malte Jakobsen in fifth place. The only other car on the lead lap, 7 seconds behind Est.
And a critically small gap if a penalty is coming the way of Kevin Estre.
Yeah, Kevin Estre can't even blow his nose without Malte Jakobsen going by, and if he does have a drive-through or even a 10-second hold at the next pit stop, that will materially affect the battle for fourth.
Into the pits as well, following the 78 Lexus was the lead car, the hands of Clement Schmidt, the 87 car on pit lane, as is Ricky Perra in the 92 Monti First Form Porsche. Iron Dames lead at the moment. They will owe us a stop shortly. So it is the Iron Dames 85 Porsche from the 81 TF Sports Corvette and the 46 Team WRT BMW. We've not so far seen Valentino Rossi aboard that car.
No, we haven't. So their silver driver is keeping his powder dry. Is there MotoGP on? Is that what he's watching at the moment? I mean, he watches it all the time. He's got teams in all the categories.
It's a busy time in World Motorsport, but at the moment we're glued to this, and as we should be. Fourth place, the number 6 Porsche Penske Motorsport car, Kevin Estre, reigning Drivers' World Champion, together with his colleague Laurens van Toor. Two-man crew this weekend here in Interlagos as to get deeper and deeper into the race. 94, this is Malte Jakobsen. Stellar pace he was showing in qualifying, and he's right there in the mix here. He will know there's a possibility there's going to be trouble ahead for the car 6, and there is. It's going to be 5 seconds added to their next pit stop. That is perilously close to nose to tail when he emerges for the next pit stop cycle.
Now, he's got 2 fresher tyres on the car. He had new right sides last time out, so he will get 2 new lefts probably this time. What did number 6 have? Number 6 had both fronts and a right rear, so actually the number 6 car has got a tyre advantage over the 94 Peugeot, and that does show the gap is just a fraction wider than it was. We're talking a 10th or 2 a lap.
Lest we forget, by the way, it is Caddy, Porsche, Peugeot, while Paul Di Resta is off the lead lap. He is sitting 6th, and next car back from the sister 94 car of Malte Jakobsen. That's just confirmation of that penalty we've called for car 6. That was pit stop infringement. Let's listen in to Marco Whitman.
Starting to pick up a little bit front vibration. For pit. Lap times are still very strong.
And that, Darren, is likely to be rubber somewhere on the rim that has just not been thrown off, and that's the vibration, it's out of balance.
Yeah, I'd expect so, unless they've had some contact and there could be like an aero imbalance somewhere. But you'd expect during this race that you're going to get various sort of stages where you do get pick up, suddenly there's a vibration. If it doesn't go after like 2 or 3 laps, then you might start to be a bit more concerned about it. But normally it gets rubbed off and it's back to having no vibration in the car.
Daniel Cadella in and out of the pits. Just looking at the other TF Sports Corvette here, gentlemen. It's currently running 2nd. That is on a different pit stop cycle to the 2 Lexus cars, but we've not yet seen Charlie Eastwood, and keen to hear what you think of Charlie's recent form. Charlie in the Corvette, wherever he's racing around the world, just seems to be in a very happy place at the moment, Darren Turner.
He's always in a happy place, isn't he, Charlie?
He's a very happy boy.
He seems a happy guy all the time. But yeah, he's exceptionally talented driver, and he's done a great job. He was with us at Aston Martin for many years, and then he went across to Corvette, and he's just continued with that momentum. It doesn't really seem to matter what car you put him in, LMP2 or the Corvette. He's always going to be super fast.
We wait to see. There's still a lot of talent still to be rolled out, including in this car. First, it says on the side, Rahul Fry aboard the car. Hopalong Gatting still to climb aboard. Michelle Gatting with all the spirit in the world coming back from a broken foot, still her foot in a protective boot. So she's already successfully raced in the European Le Mans Series, and here she is as we got the doctor ready to go to work.
Yet another distinctive helmet livery from Valentino Rossi. There's so many happy brains in the marketing department at 46.com, or whatever the actual name of it is. They just keep coming up with this new stuff. Pit stop for Rui Andrade, and there's the shamrock and the helmet of Charlie Eastwood. So the Angolan driver straps in his Irish teammate, and out gets Kelvin van der Linde. The doctor is at home in the 46 BMW. So 81 is in, 46 is in. The 60 Mercedes of Andrew Gilbert serving a drive-through for that 5th track limit violation. And one car out, Gianmarco Lavorato, the 88 Proton Competition Mustang. The two cars that were in trouble early on, the 15 BMW with brakes and the 35 Alpine with a hybrid system, are both still running.
Pretty good form here for the 46 car. They've been out of sorts in terms of pace here with the new tyre, not really, it seems, unlocking the pace they hoped. But the strategy they've thrown at this, as we see the lead car in the hands of Rahul Fry coming to a halt at the Iron Dames pit, we will see Michelle Gatting. There she goes.
I was going to say, with 2.25 hours, I don't think Michelle's going to do the entire rest of the race.
Is that Michelle, or was that Celia Martin?
That might be Celia Martin. I would think that Michelle will do the minimum possible, not because she wants to. Now, that's the GAT. Not because she wants to do less driving, but because physically, with still a broken foot, don't forget that she is on crutches with her foot in a weight-bearing boot when she's not actually driving the car. She will be feeling a bit of fatigue.
Celia's done the drive time.
Yeah, yes. But again, a healthy Celia Martin, with as revved up as she was, versus Michelle Gatting in possibly quite a lot of pain. It might be that Rahul Fry gets in again later. So 95 United Autosports into the pits, coming in from 3rd.
So fired up, Michelle Gatting about to be released, and here comes the 95 McLaren onto pit lane in the hands of Sean Gallale.
Yeah, I'm not questioning Michelle's speed or determination, but this, I mean, she raced last weekend in the European Le Mans Series for the Iron Dames in a Porsche. Here we go, battle Corvette and Aston Martin and BMW. And this is just 27 outside the lead group. This is Mattia Drudi, 13th place, battle with Pedro Ibrahim with those Brazilian colours on the 31 BMW. Interrupted by another Aston Martin, and here comes one of the Peugeots as well.
Interesting look at the virtual energy tanks for LMGT3. Pretty much the only car that's out of a reasonable 3 or 4 lap sequence is the 77 Mustang that currently leads the race, and will cycle back at the end of this fuel stint for Ben Tuck, way down towards the bottom of the top 10 or even beyond. But there's pace there, but out of sequence. Needs a bit of help from Incident to really put him back into the frame here.
Well, unless going later for fuel means that actually they obviate a splash and dash later. We don't know, because we're not clever enough to work out who will need a splash at the end, or if anyone will, or they'll all have half a tank left or something. But the more fuel you have as you get towards the end of the race, Darren, the more things might work in your benefit.
Absolutely, yeah, and especially if there's like a full course yellow. I'll say that now because it probably means that we've got one coming at some point. But
that's a given.
Yeah, so if you end up in that situation, and we had it in 2014, I think, where we were out, there was a big accident, it went under safety car, but in reality we would have had to have a splash and dash. But because of our track position being at the front of the field, it was like, no, stay out, and either you're going to end up having to run out of fuel on track and you will come last, or if, because everyone's under the safety car, you come into the box for the fuel, you're still going to end up last. So we just rolled the dice and hoped that we had enough fuel to get to the line, and we did on that occasion. So, yeah, fuel is absolutely king in these situations as you get towards the end of the race, and it can make a massive difference to your ultimate position.
Yep. So this is the leader as they came into the pits, 77 Proton Mustang. Clement Schmidt cycles round to the lead again in the 87 Akonis ASP Lexus. Yuichi Nakayama, by the way, has regained second place from the Iron Dames on that pit stop cycle, despite being 2 seconds longer on pit lane.
I was about to talk about the change in form for the Proton competition Mustangs from last year to this year. Let's do the same about Toyota. Last year, they locked out the front row of the grid. They won here, and at the moment, they're going to need something very bizarre to happen if either of the cars is even to get a point. Number 7 in 13th place, Nick de Vries. Number 8 in 14th place, Ryo Hirakawa.
While we're on board with Hypercar, you were talking a little there about the way in which it might sort itself out depending on whether or not we get any kind of intervention LMGT3. Don't forget as well, the 2 lead cars, the 2 Cadillacs, are not on precisely the same fuel strategy. The offset there, 3 laps, that could be critical if we get any kind of intervention as to who's got what in the tank at that point.
Yeah, absolutely right. And it all goes back again to sometimes the things that you think are going to hurt you may not. Now, this is a genuine battle for position. This is 12th, 13th and 14th. The 2 Toyotas are not struggling to lap the Aston Martin, the 009 car. They are struggling to get past the 009 car.
I think they're probably just enjoying the noise so much they can't bear to go by.
Well, that might be the only thing that Toyota Gazoo Racing are enjoying about this race at the moment. They are absolutely struggling for pace, and here we go. This is number 7. This is Nick de Vries inside Alex Riberas.
And he hasn't got the straight line. The Valkyrie is pulling away at that point.
Takes the whip to the horse, and those 12 cylinders open their throats wide, and away he races, and look at the gap he opened up. Now, the Toyota's close right up under braking. The Toyota, no question, a more complete car at the moment than the Aston Martin is, and of course Toyota Gazoo Racing with so much experience of running this particular car, never mind all of the long tail of experience in world endurance and you know, sports car racing per se. The Aston Martin team very much still learning the car and learning how to find the best out of it, but it is encouraging. And look at that, only 007, Tom Gamble, the only car now with a hard tyre. So all the fears that the medium would be giving up at the end of a double stint or long before the end of a double stint, even with the Aston, don't appear to be realised. But here comes number 7 up the inside. Nick de Vries is, again, the Corvette might not play well here for either of them, but de Vries manages to wriggle through. That was pretty well judged, I think, there, Darren Turner.
Yeah, it looked like the first Toyota went past at turn 4. And looking, you know, obviously we've just seen on the previous lap that Alex has got some great straight line speed, but midway through the lap, through the sector 2 in particular, just struggling a bit on the tyres at this point. He's getting towards the end of his stint as well, so obviously he'll be keen to get onto a new set of tyres before he goes back out. But I can imagine it'll be Marco back in the car now.
Yeah, sorry, that was Ryo Hirakawa, the second of the Toyotas going through the number 8 car. So Alex Riberas down to 14th place. But still just over 10% of his stint left to go.
We're on board with the 009 car. Darren Turner, you're very close, of course, to a lot of the characters around this programme for the Valkyrie LMH. How big a step forward since Le Mans does this mark? They make their racing position at the moment, 14th and 16th, somewhat underplays what we've seen in terms of an uptick in pace relative to the rest of the field.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the free practice sessions, they were looking strong, you know, and I think there was some confidence about getting the car into hyperpole as well and being in the top 10, and a little bit disappointing for the fact that they were just outside of it. I spoke to Harry this morning. He just said we actually probably got in the way of each other during the qualifying session, so something to be learned from that stage. But again, this car's first time here in Brazil. Obviously, the tarmac change is new for everyone, but there's still so much to learn on this car going forward. But you know, every race they're making more and more progress, more and more performances coming from it, as you'd expect with a car in its first year.
It strikes me, we saw some flashes of form at Le Mans with the car. Here we've seen something more than flashes of form with the car. It's looking, all of a sudden, like it's racing.
Has been racing, hasn't it? It showed earlier in the first stint of the day with Marco behind the wheel. Made a few places, I think made at least 3 places during that first stint before his...
I think he made 3 places into one corner.
It was just like copy and paste, wasn't it, for turn 1. So yeah, and it's so encouraging for everyone within the team at Heart of Racing and at Aston Martin to see the car making progress and be part of this championship.
And by the way, with other manufacturers still to come, with Genesis coming, with McLaren coming, with Ford coming, seeing the rapid progress that can be made now with the knowledge that's around, that's encouraging for them as well, that we're not talking about a wasted year.
Absolutely not. They've got a year advantage for the 3 new manufacturers that are coming into the championship next year and the years beyond. So, yeah, at some point you are going to have to be the new guys on the grid, and you're going to take that pain in the first year as you get up to speed and develop your car. But you've seen from other manufacturers that they can come from being not too successful in year 1 to being the main players in year 2 and 3.
Nakayama, by the way, 2nd place in the number 78 Lexus. He must be having an astounding feeling of deja vu because he's looking in the mirror and it's another fired-up lady in an 85 pink Porsche.
Well, speaking of which, let's get down to the Iron Dames garage. Bruce has managed to find a team that's not necessarily French-speaking. Caught up with Raoul Fry.
And I'm in the box of car number 85, the Porsche Iron Dames Porsche with you, Raoul Frey. An amazing stint you did, reaching up to 2nd position. You were happy, but not super happy. Just you would have liked to take the lead. I know that.
Yes, exactly. There's still 1 step to go at the moment. I think we are even running P3. Nevertheless, we are happy, but we have to push because today we want to go on the podium.
Yeah, but I told you came in as the race leader, but you did. You were leading after the pits.
Really? Okay, even better. I take it. But nevertheless, we have a bit more than 2 hours to go. Michelle now is in the car. She's doing amazing because she has to catch up. She was missing Le Mans. Now she's super motivated, and I'm pretty convinced that today we're going to have a strong result.
Excellent. Will Michelle remain in the car until the end of the race? Can she do that with her injured foot?
Yes, because she already tried last weekend in Imola for ELMS. She's ready. She has no pain when she's driving, and now the target is that she stays in until the end.
Okay, great. Good luck for you then.
Thank you very much.
All right, perfect for Michi. That's going to be very good, very encouraging. Great pace from the Iron Dames. You can see the pink Porsche there. The delayed number 60 Mercedes in the middle, the yellow car, that is actually running in 17th place with Fran Rueda at the wheel. So it's not part of this battle, but it is still going quickly. Fran Rueda is still a capable peddler, and that means that she's going to have to get by a gold-graded driver. She's a gold as well, Michelle. So, yeah, she's got to get by that Mercedes, although he will be getting blue flags.
Well, you had your head down just as that happened. You got the blue flag, and she made the move. So that was a battle that she didn't need to have, and now can focus on the tail of that Lexus. With Michelle, obviously the injury that she's had from the pit stop a few races ago.
The test day.
Yeah. Basically, I mean, it's something that I'm surprised doesn't happen more often. Cars dropping down with drivers still next to the car when they're doing the driver change. It's one of those things, at least out of your 2 feet, if it's going to be one of them, if it's the right one, at least it's only having to do the throttle and you can use your left for the braking.
Yeah, but all these cars are left-hand drive. How did they drop it on her right foot? I mean, look here at Loic Duval. Where's his right foot?
The answer,
in the middle of the car.
She explained what had happened, and actually, I think stood up and said, "Actually, my mistake."
Right.
She just lost awareness in the middle of the pit stop practice, which is what it was happening as to what was going on with the car. She put her hands up and said, it's on me, as indeed it was in more ways than one.
Yeah, I mean, it's less than ideal in a race, but when it's just pit stop practice, then you just really want to go and hide yourself away in a dark corner and cry.
If you haven't seen the bit of Instagram that was put up by the team with Michelle calling Sarah Bovey and telling her she had to get to Le Mans, the emotion, extreme.
Yeah. Well, Sarah Bovey was due to be there anyway.
But not driving.
For moral support.
Yep.
Yeah, and then had to use, because they had special race suits, couldn't use her own race suit, but had to use Michelle Gatting's race suit. So, yeah, luckily they're pretty much the same sort of size, because you wouldn't want to try and fit, let's say, Alex Wurz into Anthony Davidson's race suit. Or indeed the other way round.
You might get on one leg.
That would be common. I want to see Davidson in an Alex Wurz suit.
Well, we talk a lot about the Iron Dims, and correctly so. It's been a real talismanic effort. But the camaraderie within that group. Darren, you've been part of sports car racing for as long as I can remember, well over a quarter of a decade. Talk a little bit about the kind of the atmosphere within a tight group like that. A factory effort or similar with the guys that you're sharing that car with, both at the race meeting and between the race meetings?
Oh, it's absolutely horrendous. if you don't like your teammates, you know. And thankfully I'm very lucky. I've been really lucky with the type of teammates that I've had over the years. And there's only been like one or two occasions when you're like, I wouldn't want to go for a pint with this guy because you know.
It was Oliver Gavin, wasn't it?
Yeah. I've only shared a car with Oliver once, so no, he's okay. But do you know you want to be able to enjoy their company out of the car, away from the car, because you're travelling all the time. You're at the hotels and everything else. But the biggest thing is the trust between that. When you're in a single-seater team, the first person you want to beat is always the teammate, isn't it? You want the team to do very well, but you want it to be 1-2, and it's 1-2 in your favour. You start sharing a car in sports car racing. The only way you're going to get success is if all three of you are capable of performing at your best every time you go out there. So you need to be all on the same page.
Right, hang on a minute. So if you've never hated any of your teammates,
I didn't say that.
Is that you? Does that make you the one that...
Well, yeah, potentially, yeah. So
everybody's got that one friend who never buys a pint, and if you haven't, it's you.
It's Rob Bell, isn't it?
Actually, Rob he's one of those like easy come, easy go guys. So it's from that point of view, Rob was really nice to share a car.
Ollie, it's not Rob. It's Johnny Adam, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh,
driver change, getting back on target here with the 36 Alpine, and actually Jules Gounon just handing over the car here to Mick Schumacher as his partner Michelle Gatting leaves her garage and heads out on track. So they're in the same paddock, they're racing for different teams in different categories, but the two of them very much good for moral support for each other. But now Jules has finished his stint, hands over for the final lap, 2 hours of the race as we are at the 4-hour mark. The 36 Alpine in the hands of Mick Schumacher.
Yeah, it's not really been their day, has it, to Alpine? Also out the car, by the way, we saw in the inset the 94 car handed over from Melte Jacobsen to Loic Duval. That car just cycles back to 8th at the moment into that final 2-hour bracket of this race. And somehow, again, the tempo changes, the tenor changes, and we start to think about counting backwards from the end rather than counting forwards from the beginning.
Yeah. 83 stocks for fuel as well. Robert Kubica. Kubica really anchored this effort on Sunday at Le Mans. Again, you would have needed, I think, several sticks of gelignite to get him out of the car when they were in the lead. And I think possibly entirely fairly, maybe Phil Hansen and Ye Yifei thought, if we have Robert in the car and there are calls for them to slow down and hand the lead over, he's the one who is most likely to be able to resist those. And yeah, he did a quintuple stint.
Look on the screen right now, and you can see that if you go to the @FIAWC_official Instagram page, you'll get to help choose the driver of the day, the Goodyear Wingfoot Award for LMGT3. There will be a shortlist selected by an esteemed panel that will be given there as the opportunity for you to decide who's going to get what is an award that is getting quite popular amongst the competitors.
Ye Fei, by the way, taking over the 83 Ferrari from Robert Kubica. Fuel and tyres as well, so it looks like a 4-tyre change. And excellent. Good news in the booth is we've lost pictures. So that's always good fun. Meanwhile, here comes the 51 Ferrari down the inside of 99. That is for position. And in the points, Antonio Giovinazzi up to 8th place now.
This could be a very big run at this point in the race for the 51 car, which, let's be blunt, was absolutely nowhere an hour ago. All of a sudden, big points loom.
This is Jovi with a brand new Ferrari contract in his pocket, taking none of that nonsense from the Porsche.
While we're watching this on board again, Darren, to the pit wall. Oh, grief.
That's as close as you can be squeezed against the pit wall as you possibly can get it. But it looked like the 99 just lost a load of momentum. The Cadillac came past, maybe because of a blue flag, maybe, and just released a bit of throttle, and that gave the momentum to the Ferrari. And
previous leader out of the pits, Norman Nato it is now aboard the number 12 car. The 38 car in the hands of Jensen Button goes to the lead of the race. Also on pit lane, the number 5 Porsche in the hands of Michael Christensen. Remember, when we see Kevin Estra down pit lane, there will be 5 more seconds to be served there. So there'll be a little bit of ebb and flow. Way away yet from final pit stop times, but in the background still underway, this battle for second place down GT3. Yuji Nakayama and now Michelle Gatting.
Here is the number 5 from Porsche Penske Motorsport. Marco Wittmann in 5th place at the moment in the number 20 BMW. And that car still with 24% energy. So,
tellingly as well, 15% left for the number 38 Cadillac.
Was that another 3-tyre change, or did they change the left front that time? Because we've seen quite a lot of 3-tyre changes with the left front being left alone by Porsche, but you can't do that forever. I mean, eventually at some stage, even though the left front tyre doesn't do a very great deal, it will wear out. Meanwhile, 46 BMW under pressure now. This is for 6th position. Gregoire Saucy behind. Swiss all over Valentino Rossi.
Again, remember, Valentino Rossi is the silver driver. Gregoire Saucy is the gold for United Autosports. Cars 007 and 54, no further action. That was the brush, wasn't it, that saw Thomas Fleur off to the driver's left out of turn 2.
Yeah, Fleur must feel that quite a lot happening to that 54 Ferrari, although at the moment the Ferraris are now closing up towards the bottom end of the top 10.
I mean, it's not going to take much to see some significant changes in the lower order.
Well, and here's a classic example. Valentino Rossi, the silver graded driver, so not the top driver in this car, in for the first time towards the end of the race. And so some of the other teams have already had their silver drivers time and are now into gold platinum, the top stars. There's Rob Bell watching in the McLaren garage as Gregoire Saucy closes in again on the doctor.
When you see that shot of Rob Bell there, you can see why the fans in the stands possibly thought it might have been Lando from a distance. It's quite a long distance.
Yeah. Now then, Toyota versus Peugeot.
This is for the final points scoring place in the Drivers' Championship, at least. This is the 8 car trying to get onto terms with the 93.
What's Rio Hirakawa clapping his hands in the air for halfway down the straight? Was that not his hand in the air?
I thought that was the
tube. Okay.
Don't think he's dancing in there.
I don't know. I wondered if he was gesticulating somehow to the team.
I mean, occasionally you have to sort of give your hands and fingers a bit of a sort of a crunch and stuff like that, but I've not seen anyone do the clapping down a start-finish straight.
Nope. No, that's just me half catching something. Mikkel Jensen, he's done a lot of defending, hasn't he, Mikkel Jensen, in this race?
He has indeed, but it's been, I think, a very encouraging race for Peugeot across the board. We'll see what can be achieved as we get deeper and deeper into it. There's the rear view of the Toyota closing in on the 93 car.
Be interesting to know from Toyota what they've been working on with the car, how they've been trying to change setup, how the drivers have been trying to change their driving style to find some pace. I mean, 6 hours is a very, very long time to be working with the car on the same tyre, on the same track. And of course, the track evolves, but the way that they're operating the car will probably have changed as well.
Kevin Estre, by the way, on pit lane, remember, has that 5 seconds to be added to his current pit stop. And so that will just drop him a little further. Don't think it's going to cost him a position at this stage, unless there's other dramas on pit lane, but there certainly will not help in the times.
That number 8 Toyota now in the points, because not only has Kevin Estre stopped, but also the number 7 Toyota of Nick de Vries has just pitted. There it is. So Estre had 5 seconds to wait before they were allowed to do anything to the car.
Yeah, Rio Hirakawa, though, does still owe us a stop, and fairly soon as well. 7.1% of energy left for the number 8 Toyota.
Kaz Nakajima takes over with just under 2 hours of the race remaining.
And you're starting to see like all the teams now putting full new sets of rubber in as we're getting into the closing sort of stages of this race. It's like, okay, we've saved the tyres, we don't need to be using the tyres from qualifying, and it's full sets, all 4 tyres brand new, and giving them the best chance of performance.
And the other thing that's changing as the heat comes out of the day is, as you can see there, the hards have disappeared. That's not a feature of this stage of the race.
I think that was a worry from Michelin's point of view, and not very many teams opted for much hard tyre running, but you're absolutely right. Track temperature still 28 degrees. It was only 32 at its highest, so it's still a warm track. And there is 46 Valentino Rossi, continues in 7th place. And that WRT BMW has been passed by Grégoire Saucy, so you can see the McLaren ahead of him. He's now up to 6th position, and closing in on Valentino Rossi, worryingly for the doctor, is Richie Leitz. So here's the pass, Darren.
That's a fairly clean manoeuvre, except for at the apex there. Bit of a move, bit of a slide from the McLaren, getting a bit crossed up, but both of them avoiding any contact at that point.
Did it look like Valle was using the normal racing line and didn't think that there was a lunge coming?
Probably when he started to turn in he didn't, but then he soon realised that it was coming. So yeah, it was good because he gave enough room at the apex, even with the McLaren getting a bit crossed up.
I think that's his motorcycle training to survive.
Behind that pair, by the way, you talked about Richie Leitz, but there's Ben Barker as well in the Mustang, looking to get onto terms. As the Valkyrie up the inside of the Mustang. Could there be a taller and a shorter car in sports car racing?
It almost looks like the Valkyrie could go underneath the Mustang.
Yeah.
And if it was Marco Sorensen, I'm sure he would have contemplated that. Little lock-up for the Aston Martin as he goes around the 46 BMW. So Valentino Rossi with the turquoise car of Ricardo Pera, and then Ben Barker's Mustang behind. Leaving the pit lane is the number 7.
That's the 8.
Number 8, rather. Yeah, 7's already gone out.
And the only car at the moment running a hard Michelin is the sister to the 009, 007 with Tom Gamble at the moment. He's still got a new hard right on the back of that car. But I can imagine when they get through to this next phase of pit stops, that'll be the last time we see a Michelin hard.
Are expecting Jenson Button, the race leader, in pits this time round.
Critical pit stop this for the 38. Needs to be clean, needs to be rapid, keep them in the hunt. Meantime, there's a change. Ben Barker ahead of Richie Leitz.
Wow.
And it's the Mustang now that is left to try to close the gap to Valentino Rossi. You see already Grégoire Saucy is he's gone. He has headed for the hills.
He came ponying down the straight there, didn't he? And despite going deep inside, Richard Leitz just left the door wide open for him. So expecting our race leader in, Jenson Button is in the pit lane, and the question now is what can the 38 is in, Jenson Button, yeah, what can the number 12 car do? Jenson is out, Sebastian Bourdais takes over.
This should be a pretty simple retake of the lead. It's under a minute the gap, and it's over a minute for a pit stop. So Norman Nato should regain the lead here pretty simply.
Ryan Hardwick on the radio there going, go get him, Richie, go get him.
Keeping an eye on Marco Whitman, by the way, the number 20 BMW, cycling through to 4th. There's a few cars we don't have an energy readout for.
There you can see the graphic on the side. The energy is not just fuel for the internal combustion engine. It's state of charge for the hybrid batteries as well. Is this right sides only on the caddy, or do they swing round and do the lefts as well? Right sides only, potentially. Catch up with that again in a minute when the data comes through.
I think that was a full set.
Might have been a full set. Most people have made a habit of not putting a new driver on cold tyres, but trying to at least give him half a set that are hot. Okay, the left-hand side does not so much for you here as the right-hand side, but he will be very aware of that.
So Seb Bourdais is sent out into the fray, and where does he emerge? The answer is he will emerge in second place. 30 seconds the gap. We'll see how that one pans out at the end of this lap. Richie Leeds behind Ben Barker, 8th and 9th, both of them closing in, or have closed in now, on Valentino Rossi. And, 5-6 seconds up the road now is Sosi. Ben Barker had done a look up the inside there. That didn't quite work. Valentino Rossi was having none of it.
Coming in off a very long run up there, Ben Barker. Maybe being a little ambitious, but hey, pile the pressure on him. You know it's Valentino Rossi. You know that he's a silver driver.
He's making him look at his mirrors rather than looking ahead. That's what this is about. Put the pressure on.
Yep. Show your nose. And again, look at the way he runs away from the Porsche behind. All these cars are different. They make their lap time in different ways. He's having a look again. But there are blue flags as the hypercar came through. 99 leaves the pit stand. Miljani remains in.
So that says the battling pair for the final point scoring position at the moment, for the Drivers' Championship at least. Just had a quick view, by the way, of the energy for our LMGT3 league group, and interestingly, the one with the most energy remaining is the third place car. It is the 85 Iron Dames car. That could come into play in the battle for second place. The lead gap, though, is only 13 seconds.
Well, yeah, first to second and third is 12 and a bit, so it's still a very tight top three with an hour and 45 minutes remaining. 36 Alpine and Mick Schumacher around the inside of the 9th placed turquoise Porsche of Richie Leeds. Ben Barker with the white nose on the 77 Mustang, still harassing Valentino Rossi's blue and yellow BMW. This battle continues for 7th place.
Barker Whitman Mulloway on pit lane, so he was ready to pit. That will cycle Laurens Vanthoor back into 4th place. He's back aboard the number 6 car. Peugeot's Loic Duval, the 94 car, under 10 seconds back from the second of the Porsches. That's my work is done for the moment pose.
Work's never done until the checkered flag is down, and then they have to start packing up. The mechanics never leave the garage.
Quick shot of Ryan Hardwick, waiting to see just what's going to emerge here in terms of a points tally in their championship run, leading the points coming into this race.
Anything right now is going to be a bonus for them, because the 21 100%. Ferrari is down in 15th place and it's sort of sagged a bit down the order. So any points now will help to extend that lead. We talked about this, Darren, a couple of times during the race. If you've got a car that can win, boy, you better win. If you haven't, you better take any point that's available. Yeah,
absolutely. Sometimes, you know, the balance of performance and everything else is in your favour, and you have to, like you say, deliver with a good result. That said, when things aren't quite in your favour, or you've got the success ballast that the LMGT3s have got right now, it still means you've got to be optimising everything you possibly can do from that race weekend, because if you don't, those little points that you could be collecting will pay a price at the end of the year if you've not managed to get them together. And it just keeps the pressure on, doesn't it? Because, you know, if they sort of had a weekend where they didn't score any points, the Ferrari did, you know, it closes that gap a little bit closer. You know, you lose that bit of momentum. So, yeah, maximise everything you can at every race weekend, even if it's not your weekend in terms of getting a podium or something like that.
Don't be 9th if you can be 8th.
Yeah.
It's the zeros that kill you, you know, if you're outside. And don't forget, almost half of our field in each category aren't going to score a point. because we only give points for 10th place and there are 18 cars in each category. All right, 1 extra point for pole position in each category, but even so, it's slender pickings for a lot of these teams every time they turn up.
Watching the Ferrari to the left-hand side there, just looking at a little bit of data we've got access to here, which shows the fastest lap for each car in this field. 6th fastest in terms of its fastest lap in this race so far is the 009 Aston Martin.
Wow.
The 17th and 18th fastest in terms of the fastest lap they produced are the 2 Toyotas.
I was going to say Georgia Gazoo Racing would absolutely have been my guess on that, and despite which they are still knocking on the door of the top 10. I mean, that team knows how to operate a car. Looking here at the Corvette, this is 81, chasing down the number 10. So Vincent Asseclo ahead of Charlie Eastwood. This is the battle for 4th place in LMGT3 as we head back down to the pit lane with Bruce Ioane.
I have the honor to be next to Rubens Barrichello in the Racing Spirit of Le Mans Aston Martin garage. It must have been a proud father moment yesterday.
It was a super moment. I tell you, it reminded me of the pole lap that I had with the Brown in 2009, because it was a thing that the whole Brazil was pushing him, and then I wasn't here because I was racing just in a place 2 hours from here, and I had the TV on in my car before I went out to qualify, and I put the car on pole yesterday with him. What a moment for the family.
Excellent, double pole the same day. It's pretty tight now for the podium. The car is still in contention. How does it look like?
I think the team is doing a fantastic job. Eduardo is driving superbly. I'm super proud. I think they have a shot for the podium, and I hope so.
Okay, fingers crossed for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right, well, we might possibly have a little bit more of an interruption to proceedings. There's not one errant kite flyer at the track. There might be another one around the 50-metre marker on the main straight.
Well,
So we'll look for that in a minute as we see the number 10 car, Valentin Asseclo, with Charlie Eastwood looking even closer this time, Darren.
Yeah, certainly Charlie's closed the gap in onto the number 10 Aston Martin. So, yeah, Valentin's going to have his work cut out now for the next, well, until the next pit stop, really. And, yeah, it's like the old days, isn't it? Corvette, Aston going head-to-head.
And here we are, Ferrari and Aston.
Yes.
Two brands that you've had time with.
Yeah, exactly.
just another quick number I'm pulling out from some of the stats we've got here. 5th fastest, 4th fastest lap.
Matti Jakobsen in the Peugeot.
Is the 83 Ferrari.
Okay.
That compares with 11th and 14th fastest for the 2 factory cars.
Wow.
The Ferrari just been lapped by the Cadillac again.
Yikes. And again, you know, they've had a lot of success early this season, and that success, the rolling BOP over the last 3 races, is having a detrimental effect on their pace here, in the same way that the Aston Martin has gone from being, quote, the fastest car possible, so maximum success, maximum sort of weight and minimum power, that's been relieved as it's proved itself not to be necessarily the fastest car imaginable. So they can see who's made the biggest moves off the grid. Well, up 6 places from their grid spot is the number 7 Toyota, up to 12th, and the 51 Ferrari up 7 places from their grid spot in the back of the points.
And up 6 as well, the number 36 Alpine. They currently sit in 9th place. So they've had a good spell in this middle part of the race.
Nato leading in the number 12 Cadillac from Hertz Team Joe, the car that started on pole position there. Sebastian Bourdais in 38 in 2nd place. That car started in 3rd, qualified in 2nd, but Bourdais was judged to have impeded another car during hyperpole, and so was stopped back 1 place. So they started 3rd, but it certainly seemed that Cadillac had pace. And so it appears, and the gap is coming down. It was 10 seconds between the 2 caddies. Looks as though Bourdais is going quickly.
Okay, so from Jensen, need to manage both left-hand side tires. Biggest place is turn 6, 7 and traction.
Right now, car 12 is actually on the worst combination of tyres out of all the front runners. So this is going to be a stint where it's like or damage and limitation at this point for Norman. So yeah, I guess they know what they've got coming in terms of sets, but right now it's not the best combination that they've had.
So at the last stop, Nato had the qualifying tyres put on the right-hand side, so he's got old lefts and used rights, and 38. Did they have a 4-tyre change? I can't quite spot what it says on that. Or did they have a...
it's 4 used tyres.
Used on left and on right. Now, they're not worn out, but they have done a few laps. So what it means is it hasn't got that immediate new tyre bite for maybe 4 or 5 laps.
This is one of those phases of sports car racing. It can draw you in to the conclusion, oh, it's settled down now. But there's further chapters to be written here in both classes.
And again, we're back into team formation, aren't we? 2 Caddies, 2 Porsches, 2 Peugeots, and then BMW, Ferrari and Alpine sort of jockeying for position there. The Toyotas creeping a little further forward now. They're both ahead of the Aston Martins.
One quick storyline to close off. We had that 5 second. We're going to go full course yellow. Is this for the kite, I wonder?
Might
Another
well
kite.
Be.
There's a pub quick question, if ever there was one. Which international motorsport event was interrupted twice for kites on
20
track?
seconds for full course yellow.
We will go under full course yellow in less than 15 seconds.
It is.
Full course yellow in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Full course yellow, full course yellow.
So, note to self.
Okay, we are
next
collecting
year
debris from the start straight. We are collecting debris from the start straight. All cars to bear right. All cars to bear totally to the right.
Next year in fan merch, nothing that flies. No kites, no balloons.
All cars to bear right at the start straight. All cars to bear totally to the right at the start straight. We have marshals on track.
That's because somebody's going to have to leap over the wall or come around the end of the pit wall, probably, to go and retrieve that. It's down at the 50-metre board. There you go.
That's not Rob Bell, by the way. I think it's one of the marshals.
He's fast.
Yeah,
it's a good sprint. Yeah.
Well, he's faster that way because it's slightly downhill to the centre S's. Now he's got to run uphill as well.
We will remove full course yellow in less than 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Full course yellow removed.
So does lightning strike again? Michelle Gatting wasn't quite where she needed to be, but she's got a good run on Yuichi Nakayama. He just manages to hold off the Iron Dames Porsche. Now, if they'd been another few metres further, she might have had that run down the inside completed, but she certainly gave it a good go in this battle for second in LMGT3.
Indeed she did. It was Rahel Fry, wasn't it, with Martin Berry the last time we came back from full course yellow, and that made that look simple. This time the more experienced racer was ready for that move. Here comes one of the caddies, makes that move quickly. It's out the way. Michelle Gatting, though, is under investigation for full course yellow procedures.
Now, that might have been not slowing down fast enough, and that might have been speeding up too early. So either way, That might be potential problem for their podium finish. They're currently in third. There she is in the pink and white Porsche, chasing the second place Lexus of Yuichi Nakayama.
And I think just before the full course yellow came out, Charlie had made a mood on the number 10 Aston Martin sneaking past. There's only a second and a half between them at the moment, but obviously that move was just done just before the full course yellow.
Yeah, so Charlie Eastwood now just 7.5 seconds back from Michelle Gatting. There's another move to and along the wall. We've seen a lot of that today. That's the battle. That's just the 14th.
That's just a good job that kite was moved, wasn't it?
That was Alessia Rivera down the inside of Pedro Ibrahim in that Brazilian livery BMW. That was where you just stop breathing and try and draw your elbows in.
So whatever next, train set at turn 4, who knows?
Well, it's not so hot that there's any paddling pools in the paddock, so there's that advantage at least. Now, here we go, looking down the inside again. Oof. And Darren, this is the difference, isn't it, between the two cars? You've got a front-engine car like the Lexus, or maybe like the Aston Martins you've been so familiar with, or a rear-engine car, a mid-engine car. They're going to generate lap time in different ways, and so they'll have advantages.
Oh, absolutely, and it looks like the Porsche is really strong in that sector too. And then just loses out a little bit on the straight line performance. But the biggest thing is when you're trying to overtake someone, actually straight line's the key. Having that run down to turn 1 or into turn 4, you just want to be right on the tail of the person. But if you've got a good exit and they pull away, there's nothing so disheartening as that at that moment in time.
We get the long shot here. I think we're going to start to see Charlie Eastwood in this shot because he is closing in on this pair as they battle away. Number 10, Aston Martin on pit lane. There he is. So that is Charlie Eastwood in the number 81 TF Sports Corvette. Lexus, Porsche, Corvette, Aston Martin on pit lane. Then the 59 McLaren and the first of the BMWs. Driver of the day, remember, you can vote now on Instagram, FIWC_official.
Celia Martin voting there, possibly for herself.
I'm in it. And you will form part of the opportunity to award that award. Aboard the 50 car now.
4 p.m. local time, an hour and 30 of the race remains, and official fan attendance is 84,741 fans here for the Rolex 6 Hours of Sao Paulo.
I think that's a 5-figure sum up on what we had last year.
So I think just over 70,000 last year. And that's a very sizable uptick in performance in terms of feet on the ground here and bums on seats, and that's very encouraging. We think the championship is thrilling. We think it's worthy of you coming to see it. Seems like the fans do as well. Let's get down to Cadillac Hertz Team Jota and catch up with a well-known face.
And with Jensen Button in the Cadillac Hertz Jota team garage. You were leading before, we were just talking, and he said you lose quite a bit of time after the pit stop.
Yeah, it's been good actually. I mean, I think we're a little bit surprised at our pace, to be fair, compared to the rest of the field. We're still racing the Porsches a little bit, but yeah, if we can keep it together, it's definitely a Cadillac day today. And a Hertz Team Jota, phenomenal job. It's been a tough weekend for us in terms of finding a balance that works, especially for the 38. Great qualifying yesterday, and no, to be first and second at the moment is fantastic. You know, I led quite a few laps. We're on a different strategy to the 12 because they're pitting, I think, about 10 laps before us. So it does mean our last refueling will be shorter than the other car, but we seem to have lost kind of 30 seconds since the last pit stop, and I don't know what happened, whether it was a slow stop or something. But yeah, we're still okay. But it's a pleasure to drive the car around here. You know, it's the most I've enjoyed the car this year, and lovely to be fighting, you know, at the front.
Yeah, you had a good stint, and also possibly the two cars are going to be quite close together at the end.
Yeah, maybe. I think they've pulled out a bit too much of an advantage right now. But you know, a win would obviously be amazing. But after the year we've had so far, I think if we're able to be on the podium, that's an extraordinary race for us, and I'd be very, very happy. It'll actually, you know, if it did happen, it would be my first podium in WEC, so it's been a while. So, no. Anyway, there's a long way to go, an hour and a half. A lot can happen, good and bad, but we've got Seb in the car. He knows what he's doing, and yeah, lastly, it's just lovely to be back here in Interlagos. So many great memories, and hopefully we can make some more today.
Good luck, and we all hope you're on that podium.
Cheers, thank you.
For Jensen and for his then Vroom teammate Rubinho, this was a very emotional place to come racing, and yeah, it would be, I think it would be a surprise if Cadillac don't have both cars on the podium. There might end up being quite a battle in the end. Jensen's downplaying the chances, but you never know. Now then, what's going on with the Toyota and the Ferrari here? This is 8, Ria Hirakawa, and 50, Antonio Fuoco, and a drive-through for car 85.
That is the Iron Dames.
That is the Iron Dames. Michelle Gatting in second.
That is going to cost them second place because Charlie Eastwood under 6 seconds back. So that is full course yellow procedures for Michelle Gatting. And from second place as these two cars battle away for what is 14th place. So we'll listen in to what's going on with Brendan Hartley on the radio.
I know you're doing what you can, mate. It's all good. Track temp is falling quite quickly now.
Yeah, it's not wrong, actually. It's dropped 5 degrees in the last hour, which doesn't sound like an awful lot, but 5 Celsius is a big difference. Think if you're watching at home in the UK, if it was 30 degrees on Friday and only 25 overnight, how much cooler that felt. Well, that's what we're seeing in terms of development in the track, and that may change the balance of the cars. It may change the balance of power between some of these cars as well. And there's 2 battles for Toyota just at the front of this shot. There's number 7, Kamui Kobayashi, versus 009. Marco Sorensen is back in. And then there's this battle, the 8 of Brendan Hartley and 50 of Antonio Fuoco. Now, for the moment, none of them are actually for a point. All of them, though, Darren Turner, are for being a racing driver and not being passed.
Yeah, this is when it's really going to get elbows out, isn't it? I love this. You know, these cars, incredible performance, and they're still racing like so close to each other. Fantastic racing throughout. Like you say, it's not even for the podium position, is it? This is it just to sneak into the top 10. So, yeah, it's great that they're putting on such a good show, and it's so competitive.
Well, what do we know about endurance racing? What has Toyota's history over the years taught us? It ain't ever over. We could have a safety car just after all the front runners have done a green flag stop, and suddenly it falls into their laps. It could go entirely the wrong way. It could go green all the way. You never know, and you're certainly not. It's like you in the fuel situation. If you surrender, you know you've lost. If you cling on tenaciously, something might happen, and that's what these guys are doing. They're racing drivers. They're racing.
It's the hypercar standings. LMGT3, I can tell you, Michelle Gatting has taken that drive-through penalty, has emerged 3rd place. Watch again this attempted overtake. Almost on the grass, but also all the way through the rubbish there as well. That's not going to have helped his push for the remainder of the lap.
Well, Brendan left him the dirt. So, OK, if you want to go rallycrossing, feel free, my friend.
Also, by the way, into the pits from the lead in LMGT3, 87 Lexus in the hands of Clement Schmidt. That puts Charlie Eastwood into the lead of the race at the moment, but he will also owe us a pit stop. So from every angle there, that's quite a ride there for the number 50 car in the hands of Antonio Fuoco.
Quite dramatic. Loic Duval and Alessia Rivera are under investigation for an incident at turn 11 a few minutes ago. We didn't see it on camera, I don't think, but clearly 2 into 1 didn't quite go. Alessia Rivera in the 21, second in the championship standings, Ferrari, and Loic Duval, the 94 Peugeot, currently in 5th place.
Still sticking with this battle. Very close indeed. Ferrari got the toe here.
Yeah, it looked like the Toyota wasn't even going to try and defend on this lap.
Oh, I think just in front, there's been... no, the Aston Martin was behind anyway. I was just saying that Kamui Kobayashi is in front of the 009. There they are. As the 50 Ferrari goes by the number 8.
That was a lot simpler than the previous attempt on the way down to turn 4, wasn't it?
Significantly less dramatic. It's an hour and 23 minutes to go, and it's effectively a 4-car battle for 12th here, is what we're talking about with this pair. Little doubt the 50 is going to close this gap, and will likely bring the second Toyota with it.
Yeah, Marco Sorensen, I should think, has probably got a smile that he can barely fit into his helmet at this stage, having so much fun attacking the Toyota. I mean, of all things, yes, in the last 2 or 3 seasons, Ferrari has sort of emerged as one of the front runners, Henke Porsche last year, but Toyota Gazoo Racing, they're still the benchmarks, aren't they, Darren, really, in terms of performance and execution?
Yeah, absolutely. Year in, year out, they're always there and produce the good performance at every racetrack near enough. So again, it's super encouraging, isn't it, that the Aston's being able to go wheel to wheel with these guys for the first time this season. So and Marco's been on his tail now for a good sort of half a dozen laps or so. But I'm guessing car 50 is closing in fairly rapidly behind them.
Yeah, Sorensen will have to stop and drop out of this battle before they do. He's on 36% energy, 54 for the number 7 Toyota in front, and 54 for the 50 Ferrari behind him.
Good view of the multi-function steering wheel there, going through the gears. Marco Sorensen. You've known Marco for a long time, Darren. It seems to me he's a driver that's adapted to this Valkyrie. It's just like coming home. He seems to absolutely love it.
Yeah, when you look at his single-seater pedigree before he came into sports car racing with GT, I mean, he was definitely one of the sort of up-and-coming superstars in single-seaters, and then had his accident, sort of lost that momentum, and then he got into the GT cars, and he's just one of the all-round good guys, super talented behind the wheel, but just a real easy guy to be as a teammate. So it's lovely that he's got the opportunity with Hart Racing and in the Valkyrie this year. I know there's a lot of drivers in the mixing pot to get a seat there, and he's producing the goods for the team as well. And the good thing about Marco is just his sort of team spirit, and it's just general vibe in a garage. He's just such a lovely guy to hang with.
Now, when we're talking about what's going on for the future, looking at cars like the TF Sport Corvette we just were, Charlie Eastwood, where are these new brands coming in going to find their drivers from? They're not going to be recruiting a bunch of guys out of Formula One, but you're looking maybe at the support series, or maybe you're doing what some of the big manufacturers did, is looking at the top, the cream of the crop in GT, and hiring them to go and race your hypercars.
It's a great driver market right now. If you're producing the goods on the racetrack, then hopefully you've got a manufacturer coming knocking on your door, and there's some great contracts out there, and that's what's so good about this sports cars racing at the moment is just how many cars, how many championships are there out there, and how many drivers are required. So it's just win-win for everyone.
And it's not one a car, it's 3 per car for a 2-car team. So each new manufacturer is going to need 12 drivers.
WRT going to work for Valentino Rossi, and as he leaves, in comes Charlie Eastwood from the lead of LMGT3 with a 19-second advantage over Michel Gatting now.
Yeah, so this is still very much in a state of flux, isn't it, this LMGT3 deal? No further investigation from Greg Rossosi in the 59 McLaren for not respecting blue flags, so that's good news for them.
No, it's under investigation,
sorry.
So that he is potentially in trouble a little further down the line.
Iron Dames are in as well, so...
That cycles Ben Barker through to the lead again in the Mustang, and following through is the other United Autosports McLaren, the hands of Marino Sato. Jose Maria Lopez, by the way, is back aboard the 87 car, which will cycle back through to the lead as the 2 cars ahead of him now pit. But this is shaping up to be a really very close battle for the podium in LMGT3.
And actually in hypercar as well. But look at this. This is that move.
Different move.
Yeah. Oh, so that's the other Toyota.
Yes.
So that's 50 going by number 7, Kamui Kobayashi.
50 pushing towards the points. Next target for the 50 car is the 009, which had gone by the number 7 car.
So this is an Imola 2024 style charge from the back from Antonio Fuoco. It was Nick Nielsen that made up so much of the ground in that race after they got badly delayed by the rain.
Well, you said just a little while ago, Martin, that the air temperature is plummeting, and is this falling a little more comfortably for one or two of these cars in this phase of the race?
I certainly think that Kamui Kobayashi got badly held up coming onto the straight there by the GT3 cars in front, and so that was probably taking candy off the baby for Fuoco. He had a clean run up the hill, and Darren, I can't imagine what the speed differential is if you're wide open compared to if you're having to lift.
That, by the way, is the lead battle at the moment. We said that they owed us a pit stop. That's how close it was between the two of them. So this battle is now going to be a battle on pit lane. Through went Marco Sorensen in the 009 with Antonio Fuoco closing rapidly on the Aston Martin Valkyrie for 12th place.
Yeah, he was just a second behind him at the line, so I reckon by turn 4 it's going to be very close. Here's Jose Maria Lopez, four-time World Touring Car champion, now leading the race for Lexus.
But only by 6 seconds now from Charlie Eastwood. This has been a very good stint indeed from Charlie aboard the TF Sport Corvette.
Well, the 81 car you saw in the back of the shot, here it is coming down to turn 4. This is great stuff. We've got over an hour and a quarter of racing, Darren, and we've still got no clue who's going to win either class.
I haven't got a clue. I'm trying to catch up with it. Well, I was just thinking when that shot we just had with Charlie, then it's now this is the point of the day when the sun's coming down, and you know you need to get those windscreens cleaned or the rip-offs coming off, just to give the drivers the best opportunity of not making a mistake, you know, from having something affecting them with visibility.
Change on pit lane, the McLaren can't blend back in. Now that is the order in which they came in.
It was indeed, so the McLaren will have to just tuck in behind. Meantime, as they cycle through behind, it is Lexus 87 from the 81 Corvette. Then the 78 Lexus, the Hansa Fingers. Valentina Hazard-Chloe, though, is with that car in a battle for third and the final podium position. Then United Autosports 59 car. Michelle Gatting is right behind that in the 85 Iron Dames Porsche. Ricard Leitz 8 seconds back and pushing on with Valentina Rossi a further 7 seconds back.
See, I think from those top 7, you're going to get a winner. And I have no clue which of those top 7 it's going to be.
But again, we'll watch
it could be any of them.
There's the release for the Mustang. There goes the...
That was super close. The drone following them down the... I love that drone shot. It's the best thing ever.
But, the one thing I'd say here is, I don't want to jinx it,
but I'm gonna.
We've got an hour and 15 minutes to go. With the way these strategies are panning out, all it will take is one major intervention. This thing's on its head.
1 minute 22 seconds on the pit lane for both of those cars, for the 77 Ford and for the 95 McLaren. So they came in literally bumper to bumper, and that's how they left. So Jose Maria Lopez, the leader from Charlie Eastwood in the 81 Corvette. Let's catch up with the team.
I am with Tom von Rompuy, driver of TF Sport Corvette, currently second. So the strategy has played pretty well for you guys. You're now splitting the two Lexus. Can you give us a little bit more of a reading of what's happening?
Yeah, for the moment it's looking good. I think, as you said, we are P2, 6 or 7 seconds behind the leader. We should have a slightly fuel advantage in the end. So we will see, because Lexus is very strong in the first stint with no tires. So let's see, we are quite strong in second stint. So if everything goes well, a podium should be able, and maybe a win, let's see.
Okay, let's be positive. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very disappointing in the inset there is, I just saw Ben Tuck looking very, very concerned in the back of the garage, and Ben Barker walks away from the 77 Mustang. 88 is our only other retirement of the race.
It looks like the muffler of the exhaust is cracked or whatever, so we want to be sure to avoid having an issue, a bigger issue.
That's desperate luck for them.
To avoid having the issues that they had with both cars here last year, parking as the exhaust set fire to the body. So it is an issue that had troubled them and that they had fixed, but that certainly seems to have been what has taken the sting out of the fight for the number 77 Proton competition team. That's desperately disappointing for them. Little twiddle of the knob on the steering wheel there aboard the 0079 Aston Martin. Marco Sorensen, what was he adjusting there, Darren? Can you tell us?
I'm going to guess brake bias.
Hang on, I thought these cars were designed around you.
I had the chance to test it very early days, and they didn't really let me play with any of the switches, to be fair.
Was it one of those don't touch anything, Turner?
Look, do not mess this up. Have a lovely day, and yeah.
Well, let's hear from the team, see if we can figure out what's going on.
Excellent job, Marco. Excellent job. We have 11 laps to go in this 11 laps to go, and we are going to fight with Ferrari, 50, and both Toyota towards the end of the race. Good job so far. Good job. Keep pushing.
So there is the 50 Ferrari right in front, going by the McLaren Porsche battle that is for fourth rather, Gregor Sosi, fifth place actually, Gregor Sosi, Michel Gatting, but I mean, he looks like a fighter pilot. He's certainly driving this thing like a fighter pilot, isn't he?
Well, the 50 car's gone by the 009, but they're right. This is the fight, and it's a fight for a manufacturer's world championship point, because the two of the cars ahead of these two are the two privateer cars.
And that would be key, because Aston Martin has not yet finished in the top 10 with either car this season. So
Not
that
the
would
top
be
10,
their first point.
No, they score points at Le Mans.
Ah. In that case, I withdraw.
Yep. I think the issues in the race for the number 50 car meant that they scored their first World Championship points.
Ah, of course, yes, I forgot the DQ.
But for Marco in the car, then get that radio message saying, hey, this is a great job that you're doing, and we're going to be fighting both the Ferrari and the Toyota. I mean, for everyone in the team to have that
marvellous
over the radio from the engineers, it's just super encouraging at this stage.
And not in the first stint where they're all close together, but as we're getting towards the penultimate stint, you're still in there battling with the two benchmarks. Ferrari that have won every race this season, Toyota that have won multiple championships.
Looking at where the battles remain, at the moment, biggest battle is for second overall. Julian Andlauer, 7.5 seconds back from Sebastian Bourdais, and just a little quicker on the last couple of laps. He's edging closer to the second place car overall.
Bourdais with a new set of tyres on, so too did Andlauer. Right side used tyres last time for Norman Nato, the race leader. So Andlauer and Bourdais both with the tyre advantage, but the quickest of the three is the race leader, the number 12 Caddy. At least it was on the last lap.
Slight correction. You're right, they got tyres, but it was used tyres going on for Sebastian Bourdais' 38 car. It's new tyres going on for the number 5 car, and horrible luck. Absolutely horrible luck.
I really feel for this team. You know, they have worked so hard with this car all of last year in this. I mean, look at Ben Tuck in the background, not exactly the happiest of campers. And you know, they were potentially on for a really good result. And so too the Iron Dames. Michel Gatting all over Gregor Sosi.
Who still, by the way, does have a bit of shadow hanging over him with that under investigation for not respecting a blue flag. We've not heard about that, but Michel Gatting will want to dispense with any doubt whatsoever. She's got her head full of 5th place, which is where Gregor Sosi currently is. She wants it now.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing, you know, he might have a potential penalty. So what? If you're ahead of him, it doesn't matter whether he does or doesn't. If you're behind, then you're subject to the vagaries of what might happen in terms of judicial decisions. So, yeah, if you can pass on track, it's always, I mean, that's what racing drivers do, Darren, right?
Hopefully, yeah, that's the plan, isn't it? If you have to remind the driver of the task ahead, then yeah, maybe that's not their thing. But I'm just looking at the lap times for the hypercars. No one's doing anything quick in sectors or overall lap times. I don't know if these track conditions, as the track's cooling off, sun's going down, just if it's now starting to be a bit of a struggle with getting these tyres and keeping the temperature there.
Great view of just some of the tiny parts of this vast metropolis that is Sao Paulo. All the way around this circuit. We're right in the heart of the city. I'm sure this track wasn't built in the heart of the city, but the city is sort of swarmed by it. in the intervening 45 years.
Fabulous pictures here. Just a word, really, for the efforts been put in to draw the crowd to Interlagos this weekend. Loads to do here. Massive fan zone. Fabulous collections of vintage and classic cars, and some fabulous old Brazilian race cars here as well for fans to drool over. And if you like that kind of festival, there's going to be more to come at both Kota and Fuji.
Yeah, the Fuji fan zone is something
legendary.
Else, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. Now then, 99 here, all over the back of the 51 Ferrari for the final place in the top 10. Alessandro Pierguidi holding off Nico Varone.
Well, this is the final position for Drivers' Championship points, so this has potential to affect the World Championship here.
Because only 2 cars ahead is the 83 car that is second in the championship, so even 1 point here for the crew of 51 could be a championship winning point by the time we get to the final evening in Bahrain.
One final quick word, by the way, about balanced performance. We've talked about it a couple of times this weekend. I'm going to talk about it one more time. That ultimate performance we've seen in terms of the quickest lap times. Big difference between the fastest lap time we've seen from the 83 car that currently sits in 8th place and the 2 factory cars. So the point to make is that's not to do with balance of performance, because they've all got the same.
Okay, so we need to carry more speed T8 and T12 and 3 and be less aggressive on throttle, turn 6.
For the avoidance of doubt, by the way, this is Nico Varone catching that Ferrari.
Yeah, and Darren, it's useful for the engineers to be able to study the data the driver doesn't see and try and find ways of maximising the grip as Varone comes around the outside.
That nearly worked, nearly got himself in a position to box in the Ferrari, but unfortunately as the circuit went to the different direction, it's...
Got him? Not quite.
It's coming though, isn't it? It's not far away before he finds a way through.
He's hungry. That's a good thing to see. Already a WC champion in LMGT AM, the final year of that formula with Ben Keating in the Corvette.
Didn't quite get the run he wanted out of turn 12. The Ferrari just seemed to have the legs on the Porsche up the hill. It's a little bit like what we were seeing with the Iron Dames car. Making that speed in the middle part of the track means you're always running up into the back of the car in front, who then stretch their legs down the straight.
I mean, ultimately, if you can use the GT cars to box someone in, then you've got half a chance of making a move in the infield. But if you can't use those GT cars, then it's very unlikely you're going to be able to make a move unless there's a mistake, you know, and you can force someone into a mistake, but you're definitely less likely in that, especially sector 2.
65 minutes to go, and the number 12 car here leads the race by 54 seconds from its sister car. It's been quite the run here for Cadillac Hertz Team Jota. Norman Nato in the middle of what's been a very good stint from him. Seb Bourdais settling in second place, still 7.5 seconds ahead of Julien Anlar, who is not making meaningful impression on that gap. And then a big gap behind to the second factory Porsche in the hands of Laurent Fronteur. 30 seconds further back from that for Loic Duval, the first of the 2 Peugeots that sit back-to-back, 94-93 in 5th and 6th place.
And Graham, just the top 3 remain on the lead lap.
The pace has been stellar.
It's brutal, isn't it? This is almost as breathless as Spa was. And for the drivers, probably at twice as breathless as Spa was. At least at Spa, there's a few long straights.
What we've seen all the way through the race is blistering pace from the lead cars and fantastic competition LMGT3, and that's made it really tough for the hypercars, because they've not been encountering 1 car, they've been encountering 3 and 4 and 5, and they're battling, and that's made it really tough.
And actually what's made it easier for the LMGT3 cars is how strung out the hypercar field has come as a result, because you're not getting 5 or 6 in a queue dive bombing you as they all come through at the same turn. You're getting them almost singly. This is like Duval Greg Vu on board with the car in 5th place.
Yeah, on board here, and it's been a very good run indeed from both of the Peugeots, but unfortunately for them, ahead of them, they've got 2 other teams, the manner of Porsche Penske Motorsport, Cadillac Hertz Team Jota, both having very good days.
And you wonder where the 15 of BMW might have been. It's currently in the pit lane having fuel, but if it hadn't had a brake problem, whether they'd be right where the number 20 car is. Meanwhile, back in LMGT3, here you can see Corvette versus McLaren with BMW hovering in the background. So this is the 33 car, Johnny Edgar, the yellow Corvette in 8th, the 95 McLaren right behind. That's Marino Sato, and then Valentino Rossi in the blue BMW. There he is at the top of the shot, as that number 20 BMW closes in on the 93 Peugeot. Mikkel Jensen in traffic.
Side by side here between the two. This is Johnny Edgar, the silver rank driver. Through goes the lead car overall. And there's a bit of a kiss there. I think that was Johnny trying to stay out of trouble in the braking zone.
I hadn't realised that that was that close for position. That was at the beginning of the current lap. So Johnny Edgar there up to 8th, Marino Sato 9th, Valentino Rossi in 10th position. Talk amongst yourselves. Our screens have gone black and they've come back again. So the Corvette looks like it's got pace. And Charlie Eastwood in 2nd place now, almost down to the 10-second margin behind Jose Maria Lopez.
And Valentino Rossi, by the way, catching this pair as well in what's going to be a 3-car battle here for 8th place. As the 50 Ferrari looks to bounce on through.
And the Aston Martin 009, Marco Sorensen behind him, just 2 seconds back. And Kamui Kobayashi a few more seconds behind him. 009 due in the pits, so they've got more work to do.
200 laps completed here around this fabulous circuit by the lead car. And still 61 minutes to go. This is our lead car, by the way, in LMGT3. 12 seconds to good from Charlie Eastwood. It's been a good spell this from Jose Maria Lopez. He's extended that gap from about 8 or 9 seconds gradually. One more reminder, by the way, visit the FIWC Instagram page at FIWC_official, where you'll find a shortlist for the drive of the day for the Goodyear Wingfoot Award in the LMGT3.
It's been an impressive drive from 87 because they've had a drive-through as well, haven't they? So they lost 23 seconds earlier on in the race, and now to be sat 11 seconds up the road from Charlie in the Corvette. And their lap times are fairly similar, give or take a couple of tenths either way every other lap. So going back to the 2 Cadillacs, though, obviously number 12, they're out sync slightly with the pit stop. So are they going to have an extra splash and dash before the end of the race that brings in the 38 as a bit more of an issue for them as the race goes on?
Well, anybody who stops now, like 009 just has, absolutely has to stop again. They're not going to do an hour and a minute or even an hour, so they will need 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes of fuel. And the further you get into this, the less that becomes an issue. Final of 6 hours of this Rolex race in Sao Paulo, and here is our leader in LMGT3, Jose Maria Lopez. And overall, it is still Cadillac Hertz Team Jota 1-2. This is Norman Nato aboard the number 12 car. 38 car in 2nd place, Sebastian Bourdais closing a little. And all of these cars are going to have to stop again at some stage now. Darren Turner, the longer you go into the final hour, the less fuel you will need. You might still need more than a full stint or a full tank of fuel, but the further we go, the less time you're going to spend stationary in the pits. We'll get back to that in a moment. Let's hear from our lead team.
3 laps before 4 hours, 3 laps before 4 hour change.
That's what you want to hear. That is what you want to hear. The key dynamic I'm trying to work in my own mind with here is this. We know that we've got the 12 car leading the race out of sequence, about 3 to 4 laps, depending on the fuel save, against its sister 38 car. The key is if it stays green throughout, there's too big a gap. if you get a late race intervention here, and the 38 car can save enough fuel to get back without that splash, then it's a wholly different story.
Exactly, absolutely exactly like that. And it'd be interesting to see, you know, how many more laps 12 has got. Was he just said about four to
Three
go?
laps, I think.
3 laps. Okay, so is that then enough time to basically have one stop to the end of the race at that point, or is it going to be fuel safe?
Or is that enough time for somebody from Porsche Penske Motorsport to run round to the grandstand and release another kite? Lloyd Duval in the pit lane, they will need to stop again. 36 Alpine, Mick Schumacher stopped, he will need to stop again. 009 Aston has just stopped, they will need to stop again. But when and for how long? And it's not just about the podium, it's about all the other points playing positions as well. And in theory, having all started at the same time with the same amount of fuel, they should all roughly be in a similar position, but that's not how racing works, is it? Everything gets spread out a little.
So 57.5 minutes remain. It is a Cadillac 1-2 as it's been for most of this race. It's been a very good display from the Jota cars. This, though, is the 5th place car from the Peugeot Total Energy squad in the hands of Mikkel Jensen. And they too have had a good day today. Both their cars very competitive. The most competitive of the Ferraris so far, this car, our Le Mans winner, 2nd place in the Drivers' World Championship standings for the 83 car. Ife Ye, or Ye-Fei, at the wheel of the car, and they came in for that pit stop. They'll cycle back down the order behind one of the factory cars, but it won't stay that way if we stay green.
We are getting closer to potential for a 1 stop remaining. If we can get down, if you can stay on track until about 45 minutes to go, you should be good on fuel. But there's a lot of cars who can't. Number 6 Porsche can't. 94 Peugeot is going to, well, has pitted. 93 Peugeot is going to have to pit. So too, the 83 Ferrari's already pitted.
The 12 most certainly can't.
Yeah.
No,
yeah, so
that's the critical one here.
We might end up with cars desperately soft shoe shuffling and lifting and coasting and trying to breathe it around on fumes. Of course, we might not. But Darren Tonin knows what it's like to win a race where the engineer's going, no, we can't make it, and the driver's going, I don't care. I'm going to stay out just in case.
It was a fun conversation in the garage.
Well, here is our race leader, the number 12 Cadillac, Hertz Team Jota, with a stranglehold on this. They qualified 1st and 2nd.